My faith in the Jeep Gladiator has been restored. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Rob Motive JT. And that's right, my faith in the Jeep Gladiator, Jeep in general, has been restored. Now, what am I talking about? Well, first of all, I'm out cruising around this morning. It is a bright, sunny morning, 59 degrees here in the Rio Grande Valley. And I gotta say, it's an awesome day, an awesome morning to take a ride in the Jeep Gladiator. But this Gladiator has restored my faith in Jeep as a whole. You know, I've had Jeeps in the past, and frankly, I never really had them long enough to get a good feel for them. You know, I'd keep them for a while and then discover, these were Wranglers, 2 doors, by the way, but I'd have them for a while and then discover that they really weren't very practical for my purposes at the time. You know, we had my daughter, she was young, we had to wrestle her in the back. That was no fun. Trying to get into the back of a Jeep Wrangler 2-door, it's not a lot of fun. So I didn't really keep them very long. But fast forward to today, many, many moons later, and I have a Jeep Gladiator, my second Jeep Gladiator. Now, the first one that I had, and if you watch the channel, you know this, so I'm not going to go into great depth in it, but it had a couple of issues. It had a check engine light problem, auto stop problem, the dreaded auto stop, and even a black screen on the radio once. So I was starting to think, you know, maybe the rumors are true and Jeep is not very reliable, especially right out of the box. I mean, I hadn't had that Jeep very long, that Gladiator. So I had an opportunity to trade. This was actually my mother's. She was getting a Mojave, so we kind of did a swap, traded mine off, blah, blah, blah. There's videos on that on the channel if you're interested in all the details in the whole story. So I thought, you know, I love the Jeep Gladiator, and that's why I decided to do this versus just trading off the one that I had and maybe going with something else or nothing else, who knows. So I made the leap. I took this one. By the way, she had no trouble with it, but she didn't drive it a lot, so it didn't have a lot of miles on it, so there really wasn't a lot of opportunity to have troubles with it. So we did the swap. I got this one. It is the white 2020 Gladiator Sport S. It's exactly the same other than a tow package to the one I had before. So it really is was a great opportunity to compare it to what I had and see if maybe it was just a fluke, the first one that I had. So we have this one. Now I've got about 3,300 miles on it. I've put about 2,000, little over 2,000 miles on it since I've had it. And that's plenty of time to determine if I was going to have the same kind of issues as I did with my other, because the issues I had, like I mentioned, started right away. So I figured if I was going to have troubles with this one, it was going to flare up pretty soon because I drive it a lot more than she did before. So first of all, I'm happy to say that none of the issues that I had on my other Gladiator have shown up in this one. The only little caveat to that is I did have a message on the screen once that the auxiliary battery was charging, which is okay. That's what it's supposed to do, right? If it's going to be charging and there's some kind of deactivation of it or whatever, it should pop up a message that it's charging. That's no big deal. That's the way the system is meant to work. Now, let me add one more thing. I don't believe that there's any difference between mine and hers. I think they were manufactured right around the same time. So really, they have the same systems, the same parts, the same upgrades as far as any software thing or anything like that. So they're basically identical except for color. So I think it's more probably a testament to the reliability of the parts that Jeep uses, or maybe even the workmanship of the people building the truck, as to why there would be differences between what I have now and what I had then. So no problems with it. I'm very happy. It drives just like it did the day that I got it from her. I do admit, I do check every time I get in, probably because of the first one that I had, for lights or problems or any kind of error messages, stuff like that on the screen, just to make sure that I don't have any issues like I did before. As far as the fun factor and all of that in driving the truck, you know, I mentioned before I love the Jeep Gladiator, and I still do. And I think having my faith restored in it by getting this one will probably lead to another one down the road. Now, there's nothing that I'm aware of anyway that Jeep has done that would spur me to do that at this point. You know, I do love to trade vehicles out rather frequently, but there does have to be some sort of a difference. Now, I could go with a different trim level, I suppose. Could even go to the manual option. And I am curious, very curious to know or see how the manual is in the Jeep Gladiator, particularly compared to the Toyota Tacoma that I had before. You know, the Tacoma is rather rough, let's say unrefined. And that's because Toyota doesn't really make any improvements on their manual transmission. They haven't for years. It's basically the same one, I think, that you could have gotten maybe 8 to 10 years ago, right at the beginning of the first generation of that generation, the first model of that generation. So I am curious to see, to know, to feel how the Jeep Gladiator manual is compared. I gotta think it's a lot better. I would think it's a lot smoother, probably a lot less clunky, a lot less notchy than the manual is in the Toyota Tacoma. Now, I've not seen any on the road. Matter of fact, I've never seen any in the lot. And yeah, I do peek in once in a while if I see one in a lot somewhere. Hopefully the owner hasn't seen me, probably gets him worrying a little bit that maybe I'm doing something nefarious. But I'm not. I'm really just looking to see if there's a manual, because I'm kind of curious as to how many are actually out there on the road. Again, I've looked at the dealership. I've never seen one on a dealership lot. So I don't know if you have to special order the manual transmission. Given the demise of the manual, I would guess that's probably the case, that if you want a manual transmission in a Gladiator, you'll probably have to order one to get it, because you're not going to find it anywhere. So I'm not really looking to do anything with it now. I've had it again for a while. I don't think it's been quite a year, but the Jeep Gladiator as a whole, I've had for a couple of years. And typically I would trade them out before that, but nothing really new out there that I'd want. I do like the Mojave, but honestly, it's a built truck in my opinion. And for channel purposes, there's not really a whole lot I could do to it. You know, a couple little things, some cosmetic things, but that's even limited because it's basically done. It's a built truck. So I wouldn't get one of those, as much as I do like them. Now, I'm hoping that Jeep, and I'm a little surprised they haven't done this already, but I'm hoping they come out with a V8 in the Jeep Gladiator. You know, Mopar as a whole, they love to put V8s and stuff. You see them in a lot of the different cars and trucks and whatever. But they haven't done it in the Jeep Gladiator yet, at least for something that I'd be interested in. There is a 392 out there, but that, as far as I know, is only available in the Jeep Wrangler or the Jeep JK, the four-door version. But wouldn't it be cool to have it in the Jeep Gladiator? We shall see. That's probably the one that I would be interested in. But anyway, my faith has been restored in the Jeep Gladiator. It's been awesome. I still love it. I highly recommend, if you're in the mid-size truck market, to at least take one out and give it a try. I think you'll probably be impressed. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about my 2021 Toyota Tacoma. And Rob Motive FST, all about my 2021 Toyota Tundra. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.